The officers stepped out of the cruiser, their boots crunching against the gravel. Officer Daniels adjusted his belt, shooting me a suspicious glance while Officer Carter listened to Linda's piercing accusations. "He broke into my property." "Oh," she wailed, clutching the fence like she was the one wronged. "We were terrified when he showed up uninvited." I wanted to laugh, but my fury kept it locked down. My property, this cabin, was mine for years. Every nail, every board, every tree I planted out front, it was all in my name, Jack Riley. Yet here I was, treated like an outsider on my own land. Officer Daniels stepped closer. "Sir, we need to see some ID. Over here." I could feel the party guests' eyes on me, their whispers buzzing like bees. And some were already filming on their phones, eager to catch me being dragged off. My hands shook a bit as I reached for my wallet. Not from fear of the cops, but from the sting of standing like a crook outside my own home. Linda leaned toward the officers, her voice low but loud enough for me to catch. "I told you, he's been skulking around here before. He's dangerous. Get him out." That's when my patience snapped. I handed over my ID, locking eyes with her. "You sure you want them to run my name?" And for the first time, Linda blinked, her smug grin wavering. She didn't know my past. She didn't know what'd pop up when they checked. And when they did, things were about to flip big time. The officer held my license up to the afternoon sun, squinting at it. Officer Carter tapped away on the squad car's tablet. Linda crossed her arms, smirking, whispering to her friend Sarah. "Finally, this creep's getting hauled off." Seconds dragged on. The guests chuckled, raising their glasses like this was some show. Yet my fists clenched, but I kept cool. I learned long ago, don't blow up too soon. Let them dig their own grave first. Then Daniels looked up, confusion flashing across his face. He tilted the screen toward Carter, and they shared a look. "Sir," Daniels said, "it says here you're the registered owner of this cabin." The table went dead quiet. The smug laughter froze. Linda's eyes widened, but she slapped on a fake smile. No, that's not right. You've got the wrong record. I'm with the Homeowners Association, and this place falls under our rules." Her words lit a fire in me. And I made damn sure there was no HOA when I bought this land. I stepped forward, voice calm but heavy. "There's no HOA here, Linda. You conned your way onto my property and threw parties in my house while I was gone." A couple of guests squirmed. Sarah muttered, "Wait, this isn't your place?" Linda's face flushed red, her mask cracking. "Don't believe him," she screamed. "He's dangerous. I saw him snooping around." Carter raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, he's not snooping. He's the legal owner." Then came the twist. Daniels pulled me aside, his voice low, urgent. "Mr. Riley, we found something else tied to your name in the system. Something she doesn't know." Linda's fake confidence flickered, fear creeping into her eyes. I tilted my head, curious. "Something else?" I asked quietly. He nodded, eyes steady. "Yes, sir. Military service. Special operations. Decorated." Linda's jaw dropped as the words hit the air. The guests' whispers grew louder, some backing off like they didn't want to be on the wrong side of this. And I stayed silent, letting the moment sink in. Daniels raised his voice so all could hear. "Ma'am, you called this man dangerous. You're right, he's dangerous to lawbreakers. He's a veteran, and by the looks of it, the rightful owner." Linda's hands shook against the fence, but she jutted her chin out, clinging to her victim act. "This is insane. He's lying to you all. He probably faked those records. Don't you see? He's trying to steal this place." I stepped closer, my voice steady, sharp as a blade. "Steal, lady. This is my land. You're the one throwing parties, drinking my wine, lying to cops. You faked authority you don't have, and now it's catching up." One guest, Greg, who'd been laughing earlier, stood, his voice shaky. "Wait, if this is his place, why are we here?" Linda spun on him. "Shut up! Don't listen to him. He's just trying to scare you." But she froze when Carter pulled out a folder. "Funny thing, ma'am," he said. "We got a call about fake HOA notices taped around here. The description matches you. Care to explain?" Her face went pale as chalk. For the first time, she was speechless. The crowd that once cheered her now stared like she was a crook in plain sight. She stammered, hands flailing for an excuse. "That's ridiculous. Why would I waste time with notices? I was just keeping the neighborhood safe." Daniels crossed his arms. "Safe from what? A veteran coming back to his own cabin? His words sliced through her lies, and some guests grabbed their stuff, embarrassed to be there. I let out a slow breath, then reached into my bag. Linda flinched, expecting something dangerous, but I pulled out a black hard drive, and I held it up. Know what this is? Security footage. Every corner of this cabin's wired. I saw you unlock my doors, pour drinks in my kitchen, laugh about me never finding out. Gasps rippled through the group. Greg cursed under his breath, looking away. Linda's face was ghostly. "You're bluffing," she whispered, voice cracking. I smirked coldly. "Am I? I can play it for the officers right now. And trust me, it's not just you on tape, it's everyone you brought." Carter stepped closer, his tone firm. "Sir, if you've got that footage, we can verify it. If it's true, this is trespassing, fraud, maybe even impersonating authority." Linda's knees wobbled, but she gripped the table, trying one last desperate move, shouting to the crowd. "He's lying. He's twisting everything. You all know me, I run this neighborhood." But no one nodded. No one backed her. The guests who once clapped for her now looked at her like poison. I leaned in, voice low and sharp. "You said I don't belong here. But you're the intruder. Tonight, everyone sees you for what you are." Daniels motioned for the hard drive, and I handed it over without hesitation. He passed it to Carter, who plugged it into the squad car's system. The screen lit up, showing crystal-clear footage. Linda unlocking my cabin door with a key she didn't own, waving in guests like it was her private club. The crowd's gasps turned to outrage. Sarah covered her mouth. "You said this was your place," she whispered. "You lied to us all." Greg cursed again, standing fast. "You dragged me into this? Do you know what kind of trouble this is?" Linda's eyes darted wildly. She grabbed a wine glass to act casual, but her hands shook, and it shattered on the deck. "This doesn't prove anything," she shrieked. "That footage could be fake." But the video switched angles, showing her taping a bright orange notice on my door, signing it with a fake title. The officers froze the frame, zooming in on her handwriting. Carter turned to her, voice ice cold. "Ma'am, this is beyond a neighborhood spat. This is forgery, trespassing. And if you've been taking money or favors under false authority, that's another charge." A guest, Tom, threw down his napkin, furious. "She conned us all." Linda backed away, shaking her head. No, you can't do this. I was protecting this community." But the flashing red and blue lights reflected in her terrified eyes as the officers closed in, and I crossed my arms and whispered just loud enough for her to hear. "Game's over." The officers moved in, radios crackling. Daniels reached for his cuffs, but Linda bolted toward the dock, heels clattering on the wood. The guests gasped, some yelling for her to stop. She glanced back, face twisted with desperation, and screamed, "You'll regret this. You don't know who I am." I stepped forward, voice steady. "We know exactly who you are." Carter caught her halfway down the dock. She tried to twist free, but his grip locked on her wrist and the fight drained from her. The cuffs clicked, echoing over the water. The guests stood frozen, some slipping away in shame. Greg muttered, "Unbelievable. She made us part of this mess," before storming off. I walked past the broken glass and spilled wine, up the steps of my porch. My boots felt heavier, not from fear, but from the weight of reclaiming what was mine. Daniels turned to me, voice firm but respectful. "Mr. Riley, we'll need you at the station tomorrow for a statement. But tonight, she's not coming back here." I gave a small smile. That's all I wanted, my home back. Linda thrashed one last time, screaming, "This isn't over. I'll sue him. I'll sue you all." But her voice cracked under the flashing lights, and no one believed her anymore. And as the patrol car door slammed shut, I stood on the porch, letting out a long breath. The cabin was quiet again, save for the soft lapping of the lake against the shore. I looked at the dispersing crowd and said, loud enough to carry, "I didn't fight for this country to be told I can't step foot on my own land." The patrol car rolled away, its lights fading into the trees, leaving only the hum of crickets and the glow of my porch lantern. I stood there, soaking in the silence that was finally mine. The table sat abandoned. Half-empty glasses, broken bottles, and lies scattered across the wood. For a moment, I just stared, letting the anger drain out. A neighbor, Emily, stepped closer, her voice low but sincere. "We're sorry, Jack. We believed her. She acted like she owned everything." I shook my head. "That's what people like her do." They talk loud, wave fake rules, and hope no one questions them. But truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to be seen. Emily nodded, shame in her eyes, and walked off into the night. I pushed open the cabin door, the familiar creak of the hinges greeting me like an old friend. The air inside carried the scent of pine and the faint echo of laughter that wasn't mine. I set down my bag, ran a hand along the table I'd built, and whispered, "Home, finally." Out on the road, Linda's screams faded into the dark. She'd played queen for a week, but tonight her kingdom crumbled. And as I locked the door, I knew this'd be the story whispered for years. How Linda, who faked her power, was exposed by the man she tried to erase. Justice wasn't loud, it wasn't messy. It was simple, sharp, and final. In that quiet cabin by the lake, I smiled, knowing one thing. The land was mine. The truth was mine. And no one, not even a screaming Linda with fake power, could take it from me again.